Their expectation was this was going to go together once and it was going to work. And what they really came to find out was that it did.
We're thinking because this is like a gravity-based check valve, so we have the bearing is not being pushed back down by any force. It's kind of just like going down by itself. So we're thinking about putting a spring there to kind of regulate how much air gets pushed into the tank and comes back.
Lessons in perseverance and problem solving are key in the assembly phase of the project.
When students work in an educational environment like here in the school, we don't stress time management a lot. So I wanted them to taste a little bit of that no, you don't have time to sit there and talk.
So this is definitely some good first-hand work experience. So it feels like a job when you come to school. You got this stuff, you have to have a deadline, stuff like that. It feels like a job, you know?
In increasing pressure, you get more mistakes, you get self-aggravation, you get people that will put blame on themselves, you put people that will put blame on other people. And these are problem-solving skills that industry today is looking for. I don't want to say it's easy to turn handles and push buttons, but people can be trained to do that. Problem-solving is a skill that needs to be taught. The other thing is this generation typically is result-oriented very quickly. They have technology that will give them the answer to anything in 3 or 4 seconds. Here's a situation where they have developed a part, they made it, they tried it for the first time and it didn't work.
We were looking like we only have 15 days to finish this and we weren't even assembling yet, and it was like, are you gonna finish or not? Then once we started putting things together, it all started to fit, and I was like, we got this, like it's gonna work.
Interpersonal relationships and selfless commitment to the project can be hard-won lessons.
They're learning a lot about what they say in their mind may not hurt somebody, but it does. And there's been a lot of apologizing. We had a lot of different emotions expressed from kids, from tears to anger to happiness. And it was my job now to stop teaching how to machine parts and start teaching how to problem solve, how to work in a team, how not to finger point. We succeed as a group and we don't succeed as a group.
Teamwork counts a lot for group projects. People have to work together even though some people don't want to.
In the beginning, you had a group of students that were into it, working. And as the whole project progressed down the timeline, you saw the kids that couldn't deal with frustration and failure back away, and then the other kids came in.
Just got to get it done. You got to do what you got to do as unofficially, officially assistant foreman. I kind of took charge, and I would collaborate with Trevor and John and all the other people from manufacturing CAD, and I would see what needed to be done. I take the steps to get it done on time so we could have a working product by the time that we need it done. So.
After the students make the product, they need to figure out how they're going to pitch it at the expo. So now that they have a great product, they need to create a booth. They need to make sure they have a team name, a logo, a marketing plan, just like any other company would need once they create a product. So even though the product is done, their work is not done.
As they become more confident in their project, they naturally start to sell it.
I think we're going to do very well with this, and there's no very really expensive kind of parts in here, no like really fragile parts, so it can be dropped without completely breaking, and it can be easily repaired and taken apart.
Oh, definitely. We've thought about how we can make this more eco-friendly and more efficient. If like you don't have like the tools or like anything. For like the filter, we're gonna put Scotch-Brite because that's what we use in here, but you can rip up your t-shirt, put it in here for a filtration system. The gears on top are made out of brass, which is watches use that, so it won't get worn out a lot.
The competition calls on students' entrepreneurial skills. These include managing ambiguity, financial literacy, creativity, planning, marshaling resources, teamwork, and self-motivation.
And our project is a V4 air engine. This is the logo that I came up with. I feel like it fit us and like the color scheme went well.
We went down to IST to talk to them about designing the logo. This is the final product of kind of what our logo ended up looking like. currently working on things about our actual company, things like that, how we're gonna market everything.
When students choose materials based on cost or present their product as easy to use, they really begin to see themselves as entrepreneurs as well as engineers or machinists.
We're not going to need a case to go around it anymore because it's all going to be in one.
Yeah, it's all one solid piece, so you don't have to worry about, like, if you drop it, nothing's gonna break.
The tank has changed because we are now using a hose instead of actual tank. And if you go on like a construction site, compressors, they don't have tanks on them, and it would add more weight to them and to our project anyway.
Finally, thinking like an entrepreneur means overcoming failure to try again.
This morning they came in and they were depressed, and I had a pep talk this morning, and I said, listen, we know what the failure mode is. Let's come up with 2 or 3 alternatives. Let's not try to fix it. Let's just come up with some ideas.
Right there.
It's gonna come with leak.
Oh, hey, we got it.
We haven't got it. That's it. It's all done.
Yeah. We got 18 right now.
By our test, we got around 18, 19 PSI in our tank. There was a couple leaks in it, but we're gonna have that brazed.
We're up to 15. It's holding 15. Yeah, but that's the tank's fault. Now it's making 20. So we just almost had 20. We had 19.
All right, so what's the game plan?
So we gotta braze it, fix all this.
With problem solving at the forefront, students end up with a deeper understanding of what makes their product work and why.
So what we did is, the problem we had is that the ball was going up the whole length of this and it was leaking air back through. So we made little like retainers that hold the ball in here, and it lets it go up like 1/4 of an inch.
The nice thing about it is we didn't run out of ideas. Right. We still have 2 other ideas in case this didn't work. Good job. I told the kids, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you're going to think back and you're going to say, maybe we won, maybe we didn't, but what I'm taking away from this is much more valuable.